Hi there. It's I'm going to probably I'm waiting for the clock to strike 7, and then I'll start talking about a little about myself. But we just have to see what happens because this live. I don't have any expectations that there'll be any viewers, but we can just hope for it. I can just hope for it, and then I hope you want to get to know me. If there are any that take part in this live, I hope you'd like to get to know me better. If not, it'll be a short live broadcast where I introduce myself and then I publish the video. Okay? Thank you. So I'll just get something. Then we'll start 7 o'clock. Okay. Mm. So disrespectful. Okay, let's see. It's now getting close to mm, 7 o'clock. Yes. There. Mhm. Okay. The clock is 7. Today I'll be doing these things. I'll introduce myself, a little about my history, which is also written down, and then I'll tell you a little about my childhood and what happened, what kind of childhood abuse and the later effects like trauma and other mental health challenges that I have to live with, and then about some of my plans in future. So that's what this broadcast will be about. And as I said earlier, I don't probably there won't be anyone taking part on this live broadcast, but I greatly appreciate it. Would be very great if some actually take part. But I will, I will publish the live broadcast later after the broadcast is over. If nobody comes, I think it'll take about 20-25 minutes, and then we'll be done. Okay. So my name is Aziz. I'm 51 years old. I live in Norway, and I arrived in Norway in 1983. I I'm born in Bangladesh. I was my birth mother. She said that I was an unwanted child, and then I was given to an orphanage in the capital city, Dhaka. And then about a year later, I got adopted by a family that lived in Bangladesh. So my adoption is what do you call adoption within Bangladesh. It's not a adoption that was made done abroad to a different country. So then there's some other. I mean, the regulations. I don't know much about it, but the papers I've seen about my adoption is not very convincing. That's all I can say about that. I had an okay. I had a good childhood in Bangladesh. I'm not going to deny that because I my I didn't. My mother was traveling a lot, but she was there, and then I actually grew up mostly with my brother, one of my eldest brothers, and Then later, my dad, when my eldest brother moved to another place to work. And then in 1983, I arrived in Norway. Actually, uh, just tell you about what I do today. I'm taking a bachelor's degree in pedagogy, and then I want to become. I don't know if I'm going to be a teacher, but I want to work with people. And today I work with children, and I really enjoy it because to see their smiles and to see how vigorous they are, it really means a lot to me. It gives me a lot of joy after a period of a lot of sorrow and loss. I mean, a lot of grief because I lost a person that meant the whole world to me last year. And then, so let's say I arrived in 1983. The trouble started in 1985 when because between 83 and 85, I was quite okay. But it was actually very good because it was with my dad and my mum, and they've always been good to me. After that, in 1985, some other family members arrived, and I'm not going to go into details, but that changed a bit. It was not too bad until we moved to a place where um, to the east side of Oslo, and that's where the childhood abuse started. The abuse is actually mainly to live in fear and control. I didn't get, I didn't experience too much physical violence because I did as I was told mostly. I was not a difficult child in that way. I didn't want to get beaten, so I did as I was told. If I didn't do, if I wouldn't follow the instructions, then there would be consequences. I won't say exactly what kind of consequences there would be because there could be different things. But to live in an atmosphere where when you live in fear of some people, when you know that you can't be free and have a free will to do what you want to, you have to follow everything that is told to you. It's very difficult. I'm not explaining myself well enough because you have to be in that situation to understand. But at least there was a lot of fear and control that limited a lot of my quality of life as a child. That's what I can say. And then that's what it continued until I moved from home. 3 days after I passed 18 years old. When I was about, I think it was about 17, I jumped out of the window and I demanded that I would be allowed to. Maybe it was 16 years old, that I would not come home if I was not allowed to move out from my home when I was past 18 years old, at the past the age of 18. So days after I had my birthday, I moved out, and from there I didn't actually know. I mean, I was very irresponsible as a young man. I think the living a life where you lived in control and fear, and you didn't have the freedom. Suddenly, you had all the freedom that you wanted. Nobody could tell you what you wanted to do. So I actually lost my all my what do you call discipline, and I didn't have control with the money. I didn't have control with lifestyle, and regrettably, also started earning very well instead of starting in with a difficult I mean, a low income. I started with sales and I did very well, and that ended up with a lifestyle that I couldn't maintain. I spent much more money, and that still haunts me today because I have a lot of debt that I'm struggling with today. That's to be honest. But all those choices are my own life choices, but it still can be connected to the childhood trauma because what happened was when I was about 43, 44, I started having bad dreams. I wouldn't call them nightmares, but bad dreams where I wanted to hurt family members. I was very aggressive in my dreams. I wanted, in a way, revenge. I wanted justice. I wanted retribution. So all these things that was I was dreaming that all the time, and I didn't understand why I had those dreams. So then I seeked help. I went to For 2 years. I went for treatment with a psychiatrist, and I got many answers because I doubted myself because I had period with good childhood experiences. So I thought that maybe I was just what do you call? I was just imagining all those things that the childhood trauma, but actually that it was in a way trying to not take responsibility for all my own actions, trying to find the excuse way out. I felt ashamed, and all these things added up, you know. So I don't know what to say because that the treatment told me that many of a lot of my behavior could be connected to my childhood trauma, but not never being included as an equal family member, being extorted as a for child labor, being controlled by fear. So all those things, in a way, you were seeking for something you couldn't find when you suddenly became independent. You were seeking for actually some sort of affection, and instead of trying to do it the proper way, I started spending money on people to get acceptance, to be popular. So I started spending money on others, and yeah, so many of my choices were very bad, and it didn't help me later because I ended up none of them are my friends today. All the people I was so popular, I had a lot of people around me, but then suddenly I felt the loneliness. And in 2008, I met a person with a serious lung disease, and he gave me a home. And that's where my life changed. I started being able to. I needed actually. Oh, I needed almost 5 6 years to put myself together because I was not mentally prepared to tackle the new way of life. That suddenly I had someone caring for me, someone taking, someone really without any conditions helping me. So that was a new thing in life because until then everything was uh, conditional. That if I did that, then I would get that I would get something in return. But this person didn't. I call him Nils. He didn't expect anything from me. He just was there. Although with even with his serious illness, he always cared about me. Unfortunately, he passed away last year, and that has been very. It's been a lot of trauma because the hospital made very bad mistakes, and we didn't get to get a really good farewell. So that's something that still sticks deep in me. And I try to. I have periods where the grief is very strong, and other times I try to remember the good things. So back to when I went to the treatment, many things got uncovered, and then I chose in when would I say I chose in it was about 2023 uh, fall that I chose to confront my brothers by messenger. And the response was that, and I was so angry that I said also that I didn't want to talk to them. But that's actually the child in me crying out to be heard. And the response was they blocked me everywhere. They contacted the rest of the family, told them that they are not to talk to me. So I got completely isolated. Do you think that innocent people would do that? If they really cared for me, maybe they would ask me, Aziz, what is it that you actually felt? What is it that we did wrong? But instead, they blocked me out completely. They isolated my contact with my mother, so I've not been able to talk to her soon 3 years in February. And they also called family friends and told them that I was blaming them for my own mistakes, that they hadn't done anything wrong. It was me, I was the problem. So, but that is actually a typical pattern that guilty families do because they don't want to take responsibility for what they did to me. So the best way is pushing the responsibility over to me. And then they even told me that I should grow up and become an adult and just leave the past behind. So, but what about them? What about taking responsibility? Don't grown up people do that? So that was also it. And since then, I've tried to hold them responsible by sending them mails and asking for my rightful papers and to be included in, to get information about the papers regarding my father's death and everything. But they won't give me anything, nothing at all, and they won't answer me either. They won't even give me my original adoption papers. So, and then a few days ago, I sent a claim to get paid for the sweaters that Nils knitted, and there was an agreement that they would be paid for. They were not gifts, and still they deny. They don't. They're not trying to pay up for that. So what does that tell you? I'm sorry for the poor English, but even when there was an agreement and the sweaters were made in 2018. So that's 7 years ago, now almost 8 years ago now. What does that tell me? When they don't even want to pay up for something they actually owe? Two sweaters with Neil's serious lung disease. He sat there. He really struggled and knitted these two sweaters. And he also knitted an extra sweater for my mother. That was a gift to her. So that is not, I didn't build that one, but I built them for the two other ones because if they have any respect for Nils, they should pay up for those two sweaters that they actually said that they would pay for in 2018. But all their behavior says otherwise. They've even lied to the authorities about the isolation with my mother. They deny that they have isolated me, but in reality, they have, because I've tried to call at least 50 to 100 times the past 3 years, but 2 years, and they won't respond. So is that? I don't think that that's a coincidence. So yeah, that is that part. And the trauma has been, I have my sleep quality that has been completely reduced for the past 20 years. I don't sleep, mostly I don't sleep more than 3 to 5 hours, maximum 3 to 4 hours per night. And it's very hard to go to work, but when I come in the evening, I'm very exhausted. But I've managed it in some way. I used the weekends to pick up all, to recharge my my battery. So all the weekends I don't have energy to do anything else. I just use it to recharge my energy so that I can manage a new week with work. It's not easy to live with PTSD, anxiety, and probably some sort of ADHD and also depression. So and to combine that with studies, full time job, and I also have projects where I want to write books. So it's not easy. But my dream is to become a voice for mental health. It doesn't seem very successful now, not when not even one follower is coming into the live, but that's how it is. I didn't actually expect too much, but what to do? I have to start somewhere, so I'm starting here. So, and I hope that in future more people will come on and follow me. So it's sad that I don't have any followers. I mean, any people following my live broadcast, but that's how it is. Um, and to tell you, when it comes to my mental health challenges and trauma, it takes a lot of energy every day. But my most important thing is to go to work and do my work properly. Then I struggle in the evening with my energy and trying to charge up. I sit a lot, I rest, I eat, and then I have to sleep, and then I have to go to work. And the weekends I have to recharge again. Then I don't have energy to be with friends or do that many things. So that's the reality I'm living in. And then I have the challenges that I'm almost about to lose my home because of my old debt, and I can't handle the debt with with the interest, and I'm not getting a better solution because of my low income. So that's the problem. I'm trying to find an extra job, but it's not that easy. So what are my plans for future? I'm not going to talk so much about my mental health challenges. I've told you a little bit, but I won't do more since there aren't any people here and not asking me questions either. So my future plans is that I have a homepage, azizali.com. I think you have it on the bio on YouTube. And then I'm going to make a newsletter that I hope people will subscribe through my homepage and through YouTube. But as I started this only 6 months ago, so this time takes time. It takes years to build up. So I hope that more of you will try to take part and take actively part in my work. That would really mean a lot. And then I want to have a subscription. That subscription will be the newsletter and other things that I'll be doing. A monthly or a yearly subscription that will be a very low cost, but it's not free to do all this work. It takes a lot of time and effort. And although I'm not experiencing too much success yet, I believe it in the future that I will achieve something. So it's all about being patient and building a community, building trust, building what is it? Is it building community, building trust, and trying to show that people what I'm doing is really important. I believe in it at least, and I think many do. But it's about the timing. It's not always easy to be available on the live broadcasts. So we'll see. As I told you, my future plans is homepage, subscription with the newsletter and other things. And also I want to reveal parts of my book that I'll be writing. I'm going to write 3 to 4 books. The first one will be my a biography about my life journey. The second one will be actually more what do you call more research related, connected to my. It'll be more scientific, connected to my biography about what the research tells us about what might kind of life can do to us. The later effects in life, early effects in life, all those things. That will be the second book, and then I hope to write more books. But we'll see. I mean, it seems like very very unreachable dreams, but we have to have dreams, and we have to start somewhere. So this is where I want to start. Uh, and I hope that you'll support me. I don't expect it, but I hope that you'll take part and support me. Okay, I'll end the live now since no one is coming on. But let's see later if any one of you who want to follow this when I publish it. That would be that would be really great. Okay, so I say see you for now, and I hope that next time there will be some more people joining me. Thank you very much for this live.